filling in for Helen McDermott, who's taking a short break. And so are we. As you know, we've taken the programme out on the road for a few weeks, and what better place than Great Yarmouth, where thousands of people come for a short holiday every year. And one of the big attractions here on the promenade are these beautiful landaus. And I'm joined by Mary Benderfield, whose family have been running them for, well, years.
Yeah, since about the 1900s.
Really?
In the third generation now.
And your sons are now helping you in the business,
Yes.
aren't they? And has it changed much over those
Not
years?
really, no.
Really?
No.
How many rides would you do in a day?
About 10.
About 10 rides?
Yeah, sometimes more, sometimes less.
Well, it's wonderful. Thanks ever so much to you and your horse, Posh Spice.
You're welcome. Nice to have met you. Thank you.
In today's programme, we'll be getting in the holiday spirit here at Great Yarmouth. Vanessa Scott will be cooking up a delicious salmon flan, and Sam Norman will be in Cambridge with the ticket, and she'll be featuring the latest Cliff Richard video. Well, another thing that people always admire when they come to Yarmouth are these amazing gardens and the incredible bedding schemes. And here's the man who's responsible for all these plants, Dutchie Holland, taking a break from the weeding, just for a couple of minutes to talk to us. How many flower beds do you actually have along the promenade?
We have between 62 and 65 beds now along the seafront.
And that means how many plants?
Between 43 and 45,000.
Wow! How long does it take you to plant those out?
It takes us between 3 and 4 weeks to plant them out normally.
How many men doing that?
That's 4 of us all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
And is it just summer bedding, or is it throughout the year as well?
No, it's throughout the year as well. The beds you see here at the moment are just summer bedding, and in October when the first frosts start, then we will take these out, dig the beds over, and then prepare the winter bedding.
Because it's very traditional type of gardening. Do the designs change much over the years?
The designs here on these beds you can see behind you, no, they don't change. They're traditional beds. The layout of the beds lends itself to formal bedding, and so the beds you'll see here today, the same colours will have been in these beds for the last 20 or 30 years.
Really? That's incredible, isn't it? Now, do you grow all the plants from seed?
No, we don't. We buy them in. We buy all the plants in ourselves. We used to grow everything in our own nursery, but we found it was more cost-effective to buy the plants in.
Well, you do a fantastic job. Thanks ever so much for talking to us today. Now, let's take a look at the art scene around the region as we join Sam Norman and the ticket.
Hello, well I'm in Cambridge today where it's really buzzing. The Folk Festival kicks off tonight and there's a hilarious new play at the Arts Theatre. And I'm going to be speaking to 2 of the stars later on. But first, I'm going to go and have a look around Cambridge while you go to Norwich to see a new art exhibition which has just opened there. Most of the Tate Gallery's Surrealist art collection is on show at Norwich Castle Museum until November and includes major works by Dali, Miro, Ernst and Magritte. The heyday of the Surrealist movement was between the 2 world wars. The artists were inspired by Freud's theory of the unconscious mind and his free association techniques. The exhibition is appropriately called Surrealism, the Untamed Eye. The artists produced work that often depicted deliberately distorted objects, unlikely combinations of mundane items, or a mixture of the banal and bizarre. Well, I'm hopping off the bus now where I've got an appointment to go to the Arts Theatre to meet Sir Donald Sinden and Stephanie Cole, who's starring in Ronald Harwood's new play, Quartet. But I'll be back. Well, with me now is Sir Donald Sinden and Stephanie Cole. Thank you very much for joining me.
She's had to do that twice already. Right. You got it right way around this time.
Yes, I did, yes. You're not Stephanie.
How lovely to see you here.
Thank you.
You actually live in Cambridge yourself. Yeah, where are you from?
London.
London?
Yes.
So you know your way around there?
I do,
yes,
I do.
Yes,
This is how I found myself here.
I see, yes.
Now, but you're supposed to be answering the question about Quartet.
I haven't been asked
Stephanie,
yet.
I should direct the first one
Yes,
to you.
you asked her. She's the only one who knows.
Give me a little
I knew you were going to ask me
Yeah.
that. Well, it's the story of 4 retired opera singers in a residential home. And 3 of them have been there for some time, and into this trio comes the 4th, who is the catalyst for what happens.
Right.
If I tell you too much, it'll give it all away. If I tell you that there is a great deal of laughter in it, there's also a great deal of the reverse of laughter. It's that wonderful mix, like a great big fruit cake. Is that good?
Description. I like that.
Is that good? Like a fruit cake? Well, we've got one of our own. And but we're very lucky because we've got the most amazing team. Lovely Angela Thorne and Alec McCann, and it's just
The four of them.
the quartet.
Do you have to sing?
You are.
Now.
This is a surprise.
Yes.
Don't just tell them.
No, we won't tell you.
No, keep that
Because
quiet.
if I say that music is very definitely involved, and we are very definitely involved in the music, that is as far as we can go, do you think?
Do you get much time to wander around when you're working?
He's got a lot of lunches, I know that.
A lot of
I know
lunches.
that, yes, yes.
And I'm going to spend some time in the Fitzwilliam Museum.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
of course,
It has the
beautiful.
best collection of old glass.
Has it?
Wonderful.
Is that true?
Absolutely wonderful.
Because you're going to be in Cambridge and then you're going to be in Norwich when?
Norwich.
August the 16th.
On August.
Is it
Yes,
really?
the week of
August
August the 16th,
That's
yeah.
right.
Now you're transferring to the West End. Does that make a difference?
Well, only insofar as it's a new theatre, and
Right.
of course that first night is
traumatic.
misery. Is
Yes,
misery.
misery.
You've really, you've got the play really wheeling along, and audiences in cities outside London tend to be a glory. They tend to be wonderful
the
to play
laughter,
to.
the laughter
It's
is
very different when you get into the West End.
Why is that?
Well, the
They're
first
more
night,
cynical.
you see, they're all the friends and people. A lot of them have seen it before.
Right.
They've all come out to see
Yes.
our families all
That's
come
right.
and they're there on the first night. See how good. Well, they don't laugh the second time.
Right,
Yes.
right.
And then, of course, you've got the critics who don't laugh anyway, first, second, or third time, so that's the end of that. And
You've got
so
about
that's,
100 press seats, I believe, go on the first night.
That's right,
100 of
that's
them.
right.
So, yes, 100 who don't laugh.
so it's one of those hurdles that you have to get over.
You both are masses of theatre, film, television, but do you still prefer treading the boards?
Oh,
No.
big time. No?
No,
Not
no.
for you?
No.
You'd rather do television?
Oh, I'm much to do television.
Oh.
film. This is purgatory. I mean, I love it. While we're doing the play, while the actual sort of, 2 hours or whatever, traffic of our stage, I love it. Because the companionship and the laughter and so on and so forth. But no, I love telly and film.
Okay,
And
well,
I'm expecting some sort of comment, and she hasn't made it yet. Have you noticed my hair?
it's curly.
Thank you. You see?
Very
Are you
nice.
going to tell her about when you went into the ladies' salon to have your perm?
Well,
It looks
there was
very
an
pretty.
idea that it should be curly for this, you see. And it was quite long at the time, my own hair, but it's very straight, my own. And I had to go to my wife's hairdresser to have it done. Never again, my dear, because I wanted it to be a bit
Wild.
wild. Buffon, yes. Buffon.
Buffon, I like that. I think your performance could be called Buffon.
Well, on that note, thank you very much indeed.
Well, where are you going?
Well, I've got to sort of
Are you packing it up?
shuffle off.
She's
and-
bored with this already.
Well, I didn't like to
She's
say
retiring
so, but
already.
She's
so
tired.
young.
I didn't know you haven't got the stamina, my dear. That's what you need for your job, stamina. Get in there.
I
Think
don't
of
have
10
it.
more
I have to have a
questions.
lie down now.
Where's your list of questions?
Right, the music news now, and as ever, the Cambridge Folk Festival is a sellout, except there could be tickets for tomorrow night, but you must check first. Elsewhere, Ladysmith Black Mambazo are headlining an open-air concert at Christchurch Mansion, Ipswich. And if you're lucky enough to live near Bedford or Norwich, or you happen to be there within the next couple of weeks, then you could catch the Sneaker Pimps, who are going to be around before their appearance at the B99 in Chelmsford on August the 22nd.
It takes too much to please me. Attached but no real feeling. High fives and cold.
Low 5 is their new single and is released on the 2nd of August. It's taken from their new album Splinter, which is due out in the autumn. And you can hear the Sneaker Pimps at Esquires in Bedford on Sunday and the Arts Centre in Norwich on Monday. In part 2, it's back to the 60s with the musical Ichiku Park, the movie Austin Powers 2, and someone who's as popular today as he was in the age of Aquarius, Cliff Richard. Welcome back to the 60s, what with Austin Powers threatening to dominate the box office this month. The Mercury Theatre in Colchester has also decided to come up with its own slice of 60s fun, Ichiku Park.
Here she comes now, say morning, morning. Yeah. it now, turn around, come on, hold me. Oh, she give me love and I'm feeling alright, yeah. You got me dancing and turning middle of the night, and I feel alright. I say yeah, 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 yeah. You make me feel
Itchycoo Park is set 30 years ago in the summer of 1969 and follows the adventures of Mick Briscoe, who's a young entrepreneur and ice cream salesman who decides to put on an international pop festival in his local park. The appeal of the musical ultimately, as with all these kind of musicals, is the music. And, you know, we make no bones about the fact that whilst it's a very, very funny play, it's there to hang together 25 of the greatest hits of the 1960s. That's there for, you know, for the great nostalgia audience that's out there.
Lovely view of Parker's Piece here. Now, you either love him or you hate him. Personally, he's not my cup of tea, but Austin Powers is back. In this carnation, he's a 60s photographer. And look who he's being serenaded by.
When you fall in love, you only get lies and pain and sorrow. So for at least until tomorrow, I never fall in love again. I'll never fall in love again.
You're quite good on your feet.
I'm even better off my feet.
Mike Myers also plays Austin Powers' arch rival, Dr. Evil, and for the purposes of the sequel, Dr. Evil has stolen his mojo. But I really can't tell you what that is. You're going to have to go and see the film.
Why not use your knowledge of the future to play the stock market? We could make trillions.
Why make trillions when we could make billions?
A trillion is more than a billion.
All right, zip it.
You can't even...
Zip it. Zip.
Look,
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, exhibit A.
Number two, would you please back me up?
Look, I'm Zippy Longstockings.
I can't...
When a problem comes along, you must zip it. Zip it good.
Frau, would you...
She's too high, Pindowa. Nita Hioto. Subtitles. Zip it.
In 1962, a young British rock and roll singer took a summer holiday on a double-decker bus not unlike... Well, that was a brilliant way to see Cambridge, but alas, that's all for this week. I shall, of course, be back next week. Now, though, it's time to join Caroline in Great Yarmouth. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Thanks, Sam. So what, apart from the ice creams, is great about Great Yarmouth? Well, we've been out and about today to ask a few people.
We enjoy the beaches.
I think it's the flat front.
I think everybody's friendly. The nightlife.
Plenty of things to do.
We went to the Chucker Brothers and they were funny.
For the kids, it's great for the kids.
So that's what some of the holiday makers think. Well, joining me now is the tourism officer, Alan Carr, to tell us just exactly how many visitors come to Great Yarmouth each year.
Well, Great Yarmouth's hugely popular, so we're looking at about 11 million visitors a year coming to Great Yarmouth.
That's a lot. Who are your competition?
We haven't got any competition. We like to think we haven't anyway, but no, I suppose all the seaside resorts are in Britain, but we all work together anyway to bring people back to the seaside. That's the most important place to go for a holiday.
And have holidays in Yarmouth, Great Yarmouth, changed a lot?
Not too much, I think. The sand and the sea is still very vitally important for people, but I think most seaside resorts are diversifying and looking at other things in the resort, so heritage, countryside is an important part of a seaside holiday now.
All family holidays, do people still tend to stay in the hotels, or is that changing?
Oh, there's a mixture. I mean, in Great Yarmouth we have about 75% of our holiday bed spaces are actually in self-catering, caravans and chalets and flats. Right. So it's great. We've got a great mix of accommodation and attractions to go with it.
And Great Yarmouth is the place to be?
I wouldn't say anywhere else, would I?
Of course you wouldn't. Alan, thanks ever so much. Well, it's time for us to do a little bit of cooking now. And what else but a recipe for something perfect for a picnic on the beach. Here's Vanessa Scott with a delicious salmon flan.
Today I'm going to show you how to make a wonderful salmon flan, lovely summer flavours, bursting with flavours. And for this we're going to use a basic short crust pastry mixture, but with the addition of some egg yolk and some parmesan to give it that richness to the crust. So I've got some salmon that I've cubed here, which we're going to sear in lemon juice and olive oil with some seasoning. And we're simply going to mix an egg custard mixture to go over the top of it. And finally, some steamed calabrese. And this is locally grown, it's organic, it's a lot more flavoursome than the dark green broccoli that you get all year round. This is in season, this is good stuff. So for the pastry, sift the flour into a bowl and add the butter. And then work it in the bowl until it's fine breadcrumbs. And I'm going to season that with some black pepper and a pinch of salt. And then add some parmesan to the mixture and give that a good stir around. And then to bind it together, I'm going to add the yolk of an egg and a small amount of milk. I'll just work that through until it forms a soft ball of dough. So form it into a ball and then wrap the pastry dough into some cling film and then refrigerate it for about half an hour. And when it's refrigerated, we're going to line an 11-inch pastry tin with the pastry and bake it blind for about 15 minutes. So I've got a nice hot pan on the stovetop here. I'm going to add to that some wonderful lemon-infused olive oil, a small knob of butter. Give it a swirl. When the butter's melted, we'll add the salmon. And it literally only needs a minute or so of cooking. Some lemon juice, some black pepper, and some salt. We just want to sear the surface to get a nice brown surface to the salmon with all those wonderful flavours. So for the custard mixture, I've got 8 egg yolks, which I'm going to lightly whisk, and then add to that a pinch of white pepper and a pinch of salt, and then finally a pint of cream. And just gently incorporate the yolks into the cream. So I've blind baked the Parmesan pastry case, and there it is. And whilst that was doing, I've steamed some calabrese. I'm going to just place the salmon over the bottom of the flan case, squeeze it all in there, and then I'm going to pop the calabrese in. Lovely bright green colours of the calabrese, and the smell is wonderful. And now pour on the custard. And finally, a sprinkling of Parmesan cheese, which just gives it a nice crusty top. And that's ready to go into the oven, 180 degrees, for about 35-40 minutes. So here's the finished salmon flan. It's lovely cold for a picnic, but you can serve it hot for a wonderful supper dish with some garlic and rosemary roasted potatoes and a squeeze of lemon juice.
Well, it looks delicious, doesn't it? But after all that cream and eggs and fattening things, isn't it about time we had a little bit of exercise? How about having a go at this? Come on, come on. What a wiggle. Fantastic.
Thank you.
This is Anastasia. Anastasia, where do you come from?
I'm from Russia, Moscow.
Is it very different here in Yarmouth?
Yes.
Now, you're actually here performing at the Hippodrome in the circus, and this is your act, hula hooping. How long have you been doing it?
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
Is it very difficult?
Yes.
Now, how many hoops can you hula?
How many? So many hula hoops.
Come on, how many? Give me a number.
50.
50?
Yes.
You must be joking. Well, we've got some willing volunteers who are going to have a little go, so let's see how they're doing. Come on then, let's see how you're doing, guys. Look at this, you've got a wiggle. Look, it's not just a jump. Hey, look at this mover. What's your name?
Darren.
Darren, have you been doing this since you were 2?
Yeah, I have. It's about getting the swinging technique. Us Norfolk boys are good at swinging.
It's fantastic. What do you do in your day job when you're not doing this?
I'm the church youth minister here in Great Yarmouth. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this is all good, clean fun. Let's see how somebody else is doing. Come on, let's do a little spin. Round your neck. That's a new one. That's a really good idea. Do you like hula hooping? Yes. Yeah. What's your name?
Georgina.
Georgina, you're a brilliant hula hooper. Fantastic. Well, I suppose really I ought to have a go, so let's take a hoop. Let's see if I can do it. Here we go. This is all about this. It's all about the movement of the hips, okay? Ready? Absolute disaster. I think I'll leave it to the experts, and Anastasia is going to show us how to really do it in just a moment. We'll be back here in Great Yarmouth next Tuesday when we'll be spending a day in the life of a B&B landlady. We'll also meet the man who's literally swum across the country, and Vicky Kim will be checking out the roller coaster. So do join us then. You know, Anastasia's other act in the circus is on the high wire. Actually, I think this is more difficult. She's going to spin us out. For now, goodbye.